Drag him out of there, Toad.
That's a nice one.
Whoa. Well, they really cut the water, don't they? Easy, easy. Handle him, Toady. Handle him. Huh? Fast water, fast action. Big one. Fourth fish out of the series of spots here. And we're only getting started. So fast in the water, so streamlined. Good one?
It's not a big one. Fish. You don't eat fish.
Yeah. You know, hi everybody. I'm Doug Stange along with Otis Toad Smith, who's got the catfish on here. And you know, when we go catfishing, half the time we don't even ever tell anybody how many fish we catch because people simply do not believe it. There's some really easy thinking, simple thinking that goes along with catching lots of fish. But you can't do what most people do, and that is come down to the bank, park a lawn chair, and then just sit there. You got to keep moving, and you have to understand river stretches, too. Another 2-pounder, huh?
You bet. Good eater. Put him in the live well.
Okay, we'll keep him. The easiest way to understand catfish location in rivers is to look at small streams. Small streams are easier to get to know because the catfish's world is compressed into a small area. In a large river, major holds may be a half-mile apart, but on a small stream, half a mile might contain 10 holes. On a small river, you can see lots of water, but more importantly, you begin to understand the continuing combination of riffles, holes, and runs. Holes are the center of the catfish world. Holes must be deep enough to provide security, yet the surrounding area must also offer food. The hole collects living and dead food as it drifts downriver. In a small stream, a typical hole during a stable summer period might be 30 feet long, 20 feet wide, and 4 feet deep. Now the biggest and deepest holes might be only twice those dimensions. Inactive cats usually hold in the snag or in deeper water in a hole. Active cats, on the other hand, usually move toward the head of the hole, and they find a spot to hold and wait for food washing through the riffle. Active cats also might feed near the snag or maybe roam the hole to search for food. There, Toad got one right in the riffle area.
Little boy.
One to the side there. Oh, no.
No. Take it easy. There you go. You did him, want me to grab him?
I'll tell you what, grab him. You can get him in the water so fast here. That's it. Thank you. You know, when we talk about a riffle area, what we're talking about is a hard bottom, a particularly hard bottom section of river. And of course, the moving water doesn't scour a spot like that out, so it stays shallow. So water gets constricted when it flows over there. It flows very quickly, and then when it first meets softer bottom, like you have over there, that's where the hole gets scoured. All right, and then sediment settles in the back end of the hole, and it starts to flatten out, and we call that a run or a flat. And so rivers are made up of a continuous series of riffles, holes, and runs. Riffles, holes, and runs. And the holes are really the home of catfish like this. That's where they're comfortable. That's where most of the food is. And then you have cover areas, like we've got a big snag here, that will be associated with that, and that attracts even more catfish. Usually it's the active fish. Now we're fishing right in the riffle right here, and usually when the fish are real active, they'll move up into the riffle because that's the first place that they can contact food. When they're not quite so active, they'll be in the core of the hole, or in any cover associated with the core of the hole. And occasionally you'll find fish on a flat, especially if it's deep enough. But the key spots in any one area are like this. Usually you fish very quickly through the head end, through the riffle area. Then you really concentrate on the hole. I'm not talking spending a half an hour now, I'm talking 10 minutes, unless you know it's a very, very good hole. But that's in essence what we're talking about. Fish?
There goes one. There he is.
There you drag him out of there, don't let. Get his body out of there.
Ooh, he's staying down.
Yeah. Oh, that's a pretty, you betcha, that's a nice fish. Nothing wrong with him.
He's not hooked very good.
No, take it easy. That's a good fish, too. I'm going to want some pictures.
Take my rod.
Here, I'm going to want some pictures of him. Don't turn him back right away. You get him?
Yep.
There we go. You bet.
Yeah. Well, that's the second fish out of this ripple. We've got the cream off the top, so let's move down and check the core out.
Okay. That sounds good to me. Most catfishermen would be amazed how many more cats they would catch if they fished quickly. Moving, and moving again. Fishing for active catfish. It's one of the biggest steps to making better catches. Sure, there are times to pop up a lawn chair and pop your rod in a forked stick and then sit back and wait for the cats to come to you. But only after you've seen lots of rivers and only after you've seen lots of the individual river that you happen to be fishing. And then you can make the judgment about where the best holes are located. Only when you're absolutely sure that big fish have got to be there do you want to spend an entire morning or evening fishing one or two holes. And again, you can only make those kinds of judgments after you've seen lots of river. You know what you need to do? You need to travel where most catfishermen haven't traveled before, beyond forked stick country.
Catfishing. To most folks, it conjures up images of long, leisurely pauses between deliciously infrequent bites. Days and nights of lollygagging on shore or more peaceful contemplation. But as In-Fisherman Doug Stange, along with Steve Quinn and Otis Smith will show us, this facet of the sport of angling need not be the sole domain of riverbank philosophers. No, indeed. Particularly considering the overlooked methods Stange and crew are using. Catfishing can be as active a sport as fishing for trout, bass, or any other species. But will that Doug get into that?
Boy, great day for catfishing. Doug Stange here, along with Otis Toad Smith and Steve Quinn, and we just finished a comprehensive book of the channel Catfish. And if I had to pick out one fishing technique of all that we explored within that book that could help catfishermen catch more fish, it would have to be the use of a float, or as so many people call them, a bobber, when they're drift fishing. You know, so many catfishermen think of floats as something that you should use to suspend a bait, like in a reservoir. No, not at all. When you're drift fishing, a float, a bobber, can really help you present a bait with the current. We're going to be fishing snags today, some deeper holes and some riffle areas, and you can use a float to take a cut bait, which is what we're going to be principally using today, and drift that very efficiently with the current. With a standard hook and sinker drift method, you can only make an efficient drift of, say, 30 feet or so. With a float system, you can drift the bait up to 100 yards. And these drifts will be relatively snag-free because there's less line under the water. Now notice the long rods. Long rods let you cast farther and also set hooks at long distance. But more importantly, long rods let you reach out to steer baits from a bank or wading position. They also help you keep line off the water to create a drag-free drift.
It was a block away.
Indeed, long rods and floats are a deadly combination. He wasn't nearly as big as I thought. You gotta get him out of that brush.
If you want to be good at catfishing, wading, never wash your feet, never brush your teeth.
Right in the mouth, right in the mouth. I'd like to talk at you. Well, that'd be perfect eating size, but I don't think we're gonna start saving a few fish for quite a while yet. There. You know, I want to show you the simple setup that we're using. This is a slip float. It can be set at any, if you're drifting and you want to set a different depth, all you do is you slide this neoprene stop knot on your line, and it's adjustable, foot, 2 feet, 3 feet, you can fish any depth you want to. Slide the slip float on your line. We're going to add a hook, 2/0, 3/0 hook is what we're using today, and then we're going to put shot down there to keep the bait down. There's nothing particular about this. The thing is to get your bait moving along the bottom nice and efficiently, using the float up here to help move it along.
There are 3 types of floats of interest to catfishermen. These are the standard Carlisle float, familiar to most walleye anglers, the cigar float, and the Gazette float. These all have advantages depending on the situation. The Carlisle, with its high stem, is very visible, but for big baits in relatively swift current, it may not be buoyant enough. The cigar float is sufficiently buoyant for most large baits, is streamlined, making it easy for the fish to pull under. This float will work in 75% of situations. The Gazette float, an inverted pear shape, is excellent for extremely fast current, as it tends to remain stable and is extremely buoyant. However, it's also more difficult for the fish to pull under, therefore has limited application.
Mobility is the key to this system. Until now, we've been waiting, but to find more active fish, you've got to keep moving and searching by any means possible. From hole to hole, from snag to snag, and from bend to bend. Covering more territory means more fish, and that means more fun.
So you see, for anglers who have the savvy to use all the weapons in their catfish arsenal, catfishing can be one of the most active and fun sports on the water.